It's Friday night here in Guangzhou, about 7:30 p.m., and I've decided to have a cigarette on my balcony. I don't usually smoke. I'm not a smoker. But on certain occasions, I do like to have a cigarette. Like if I'm really sad or if I'm really angry. On this occasion today, as we remember the victims of the Iraq invasion by the United States and Western countries, I thought it was super appropriate to have a cigarette. And by the way, I am on my balcony right now, so you can hear my neighbors and lots of noises from outside. I hope you don't mind that. But this is the way I'm going to remember Iraq. I'm going to sit outside, have a cigarette, and just think about the millions and millions and millions of people that had to suffer because of an illegal and unnecessary war launched by so-called democratic free countries. It's mind-boggling, right? What kind of democracies are we when we give consent to murder people in foreign lands? So, as you're lighting candles or doing whatever you're doing, here I am, lighting a cigarette. So I guess what I want to talk about right now as we're remembering, it's actually too loud outside, so I'm going to come back into my apartment. So I think some people might be wondering why even do this? Why remember all the victims of this devastating, tragic event that, when you really think about it, as a Westerner, we are partly responsible for? I mean, I do have to give my government credit of Canada. I'm incredibly proud that Canada did not join America and the other Western countries in delivering mass murder to the Iraqi people. So I'm very, very proud. But did we do enough? I mean, even though we didn't participate in the war, did we stop America and Australia and the UK, the other Five Eyes countries? Did we stop them? I just feel like we can do so much more. I just feel like as Westerners, we are complicit. We don't stand up enough and fight for the rights of other human beings on this planet. I guess as long as we have our internet and our online games and our fast food, we're just satisfied, right? It's like, who gives a fuck if brown people are getting murdered by our so-called volunteer armies? But the reason why I remember is because human life is valuable. If Iraqi lives are just meant to be forgotten and just supposed to be a number that you read in a history book, then so is my life, so is your life, so is your mother and father's lives and your children. Then all life is worthless if we don't even take a fucking minute to remember those who were killed in a genocidal mass murder type of event. And listen, I'm not here to make an anti-American or anti-Western commentary. That's not the purpose of this. So I do want to give credit to those people that say the war was valid or that the war was necessary, that the West was doing a good thing. I've heard arguments that Saddam Hussein was a terrible, evil dictator, that he was massacring Kurds, I think in the northwest part of Iraq or northeast part. So I hear those arguments and I consider them. However, regardless of how evil Saddam Hussein may have been, according to certain opinions, and regardless what kind of leader he might have been, it doesn't justify lying to the entire world. It doesn't justify the US government, the Western media, all joining in cahoots to justify this illegal and unnecessary war. If Saddam's such a bad guy, there's many ways that we can deal with him. If we're going to go by that logic that Saddam was a bad guy, so we could just invade that country, drop bombs, cause the murder of 1 million people, cause the displacement, the loss of their livelihoods of up to 5 million people, so then we can just do that to anyone then? That's the kind of logic that the Iraq war leads to. That we can just deal out death, destruction, hopelessness, and a hell on earth to any country we want with basically zero repercussions to our lives. I wouldn't say zero because there's a lot of wounded soldiers coming back to the West in the tens of thousands. That doesn't include all the mentally wounded people, those who come back from the war knowing that they committed crimes against humanity, knowing that they were part of mass murder, and they themselves commit suicide because they can't live with that in their hearts. No healthy human being could live with that. So we remember Iraq for very important reasons. Number one, as an average person, I don't wish death, especially random death, on anyone. I don't wish innocent lives to be torn apart and destroyed. I don't wish for the media to completely censor all information and lie to me to justify wars. I don't wish for this idea that we're like cowboys and we can run around with our guns blazing trying to shoot the problem out of every country. That's not how this world works. You cannot just murder all the problems away. If Saddam was a bad guy, this could have been dealt with in a way better way. And that goes to a very popular saying that I like. And it's that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So that means even if you had the best of intentions that you wanted to help the Iraqi people or that you wanted to bring freedom or whatever to the Iraqi people, in the end, what you brought was just destruction, death, chaos, extremism in the forms of ISIS. I mean, I think the simple fact is any leader is better than no leader. I can't say how bad Saddam Hussein was. I don't know. I haven't done the research on him. I haven't talked to that many Iraqis, even though I have met a few Iraqis here in China. And I wish I had the time to chat with them and ask them if they knew what Saddam Hussein was like. But I would wager to say that life was probably better with him, even if he was bad. Because having a government, having a leader is better than having none. Having some sort of order and stability is better than having none. And war brings the ultimate level of instability, insecurity, and just human suffering. It's war. War is the fucking worst possible experience for humans. And so tonight, on my Friday night, when I guess as a young man I should be enjoying myself, meeting friends, having a beer, having some delicious food in Guangzhou, I'm glad that I'm setting aside some time to remember these people that are probably no different than me. They probably like playing League of Legends like I do, those people that died. They're probably looking for their dream boyfriend or girlfriend, just like I am, before they died. They're probably imagining what their future kids might look like or act like I do. They're probably wondering what their kids were going to be like when they grow up, but now their kids are dead. So we are so fortunate that we're able to sit here and remember them when they are now just a number that's not even recorded. In my next video, I'll just read an article that's from the American Civil Liberties Union, not a Western media. You know I don't trust the Western media at all. I do trust American educational institutes, and I do trust some of the NGOs like the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union. But because of this war, I no longer trust the mainstream media, as they were wholly responsible for this. They took the lie of Iraqi WMDs. That was the lie that pushed the Western world into war. The US government and other Western governments and the Western media all proclaimed that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, WMDs, and that was the justification for this insanely stupid, irresponsible, and genocidal war that has created Iraq that we see. A nation that's been just wrecked for the last 20 years since the war in 2003. So if you've been remembering with me for these last 10 minutes, I want to say thank you for being a human. Thank you for still having compassion for other people. I wish you all peace and love, and most of all, I wish the people of Iraq peace and love. Now, millions of them residing in other countries because of that war. The articles I read have numbers of the Iraqi dead due to the war. The lowest estimates are 200,000. The highest estimates are 1.2 million. 1.2 million. But we'll never know the real number. And I'll post in the next video why we'll never know the real number.